Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Stormworks, where last week I left you guys off with this little weird vehicle. It's a firefighting vehicle and it's supposed to fit into very narrow spaces. Now, what I had set up over here in the back was a system that allowed it to refill its tanks. But then I thought, well, maybe there's a better way of doing it, because this winch is not particularly long. So what I'm going to do, instead of allowing this thing to resupply from the, let's say, anywhere near the waterline, I'm going to make this a fluid connector. And I'm going to allow it to take fluids, water, from the Chinook, which is going to be transporting it. Aside from that, you guys did mention, hey, why aren't you painting the damn thing? Yeah, good question. I'm going to make this thing bright yellow to make sure I can find it when I am inside that blazing inferno. I could make it red, but the problem is that I think I might not be able to fully distinguish it. And I know that I am going into a sort of hangar structure, a warehouse. So finding it there light-wise shouldn't be too much of a problem. So let's save that and then do a little bit of an overhaul of the Big Bird. The Big Bird still has massive amounts of room for extra storage of, well, basically whatever I need. So what I'm going to do here in the back, and I'm going to turn that thing to standard, is make a water tank. Just so that over here on the sides, maybe on the back, I can pump the water out of the tank and into my firefighting vehicle. So I'm going to have water definitely a hell of a lot closer than I would have it if I would have to get it from the shoreline. Don't need too much, I just need a fluid spawner. And the fluid spawner is going to spawn in water. I also need a fluid meter to tell me how much exactly is in here. And with a fuel tank this size, I think we're looking at a couple thousand liters. And then a dial just on the outside, which tells me how much exactly there is in this tank. So this gets its information from the fluid level. Contents. From 0 to, let's go out on a limb and say 3.5k. And then finally, a little bit of a system, maybe a small pipe that allows me to actually get the water to where I would need it. Maybe just here. This is the bottom of the tank. This is going to be the back of the vehicle. Yeah, this could work. Okay, let's end with, or start with the end in mind. A fluid port. Fluid port is going to sit there. Then we're going to have the piping system go up. It's going to be a straight pipe. There it is. And here's the pipe. So this can be a port so that it can suck in the water from over there. Then close everything up. And now we have a small water tank on the starboard side of the Chinook. So let's spawn it in. See how much water there's actually in there. There's the Nook. We got 1,500 liters. That's a little less than I had expected. It still might very well be enough, but I want to go with a little more. There is a chance that this will outbalance the helicopter, throw it off, but I hope that the gyro can stabilize for that. Alright, test it again. I think it might be about 2,700. Give or take. 3360 or 3336. Good enough for me. Here's the port, so I can use that. I can attach the winch there and I can use this thing to now start transporting my little vehicle. First, let's see if it actually does want to fly. Because you never know if you add, well, I added about 3,300 liters. So also 3,300 kilograms. That might be a little much. Let's turn this mode off. Yep, it does still want to take off. And the vehicle, the firefighting vehicle, should be so light that I don't think I'm going to have too much of a problem transporting that. Okay, so I think it's time to get underway. I'm going to make this the Big Bird Mark III water. Oh, come to think of it, do I actually have a winch on here? I mean, I have a winch, but it only has a harness. There's no winch in the bottom of this helo anymore. I took that out during one of the remodels. So I'm going to have to add that thing back in. Make sure I can actually lift stuff off. Does it really matter where? Somewhere more or less in line with the center of gravity would be nice. So I'd say there. Then your standard connector. No, not a fluid connector, a small connector. And I will need some way of controlling this. Of course, it needs to have power. That and that goes to the engine. This one doesn't really need to have any sort of connection. Or well, it does provide an electrical power connection. Oh well, why not? Okay, now for the controls. I'm not using 3, 4, and 5. Okay, 3 is extend, so cable down. 4 is raise it, and 5 is the connector. So this is lower the winch, correct. This is raise the winch, correct. And this is the, not the maggle, this is the connector. Save it again. And I think it is high time we get underway, because we still have 53 minutes to complete, or rather to get there. And it is an 8-kilometer flight, so we still have quite a ways to go. Heater on, lights on. Oh, do I have firefighting gear on this helo? If I am going into an inferno like that, maybe firefighting gear would make a good addition to the helo. There. Hope I didn't interfere with anything critical here. Don't believe I did. Okay, save it again. I first need to wheel this vehicle out of here. So, move into the cockpit seat, turn everything on, and drive it outside the hangar. Because then I can spawn in my other vehicle and find a suitable spot to hook these things up. So turn the wheels off. This thing can actually keep going, I don't really mind. It's just gonna roll out on its own. Okay, time for the big test. Will everything connect? Will everything fly? And then finally, and more importantly, will I be able to put out the fire? There's my little firefighting vehicle. Now you guys did mention that the fuel hose, or the fuel, sorry, not the fuel hose, the extinguisher does take a fair amount of power. So far, it doesn't seem to be too bad. Yeah, I can work with this. Alright, let's turn the connector on. That is going to take a lot of power. Alright, we stop this thing. And now it's time to spin up the helo, connect everything up, and start bringing that thing over to where it needs to be. Alright, lower the winch a little. Jeez, that is one slow winch. I should have sped that thing up when I had the chance. I don't want to respawn this again, so no thank you. Alright, back it up a little. Lower that winch a little more. Damn, that is slow. Bring her down a little bit. You can see the connectors are already pulling towards each other. I just need to bring them a little closer. You know you want to. Gotcha. Alright. Easy cargo. And we're off. The helicopter does seem to be protesting a fair bit about this, well, fairly free-slinging cargo down here. I cannot go full speed because I'm going to be losing too much altitude, but overall, this does seem to be working. I think it is not exactly the usual way that you would transport a firefighting vehicle in real life, but then again, this is Stormworks, not real life. So, over here, if you can dream it up, and if the game parts do allow you to do it, then, well, roll with it. It's an opportunity, it's a possibility, go for it. Alright, I'm going to pause it over here and get right back to you guys when we actually make it over to the facility. Alright, we're approaching the facility. It's about a half or 1.5 clicks out. There is one problem though that I realized. I, at some point, will have to evacuate people from this facility. That will require stuffing them inside the helicopter. The helicopter which does not have any passenger seats. So everybody who has to be transported out of this facility is just going to have to hold on for dear life, as I have no seats, no handlebars, nothing. I believe I do have one bed, so I can transport one whole person on there. But aside from that, not much. Anyway, here we are. You can already see the fire through there. I'm going to drop off my firefighting vehicle as close to the entrance as possible. Hoping that I don't accidentally slam it into the door, or the window, or whatever part of this building. Gently bring it down. Alright. It's offloaded. We can get the winch back on. And I just need to park the helicopter, well, a little further ahead. It doesn't have to be too far. This is enough. Alright, shut it all down. The wheels, whoops. I don't need the lights, nor the wheels, nor the throttle. I will need firefighting equipment. Rescue these stranded engineers, which are all in there. Now for the big test. Does this thing in fact have the capacity of getting inside that building? Will it fit through the door? Your bet is as good as mine at this point. And I think the answer might be no. Well, not much. Oh, really? Does this thing have any other doors? Or is this it? Hold on. Let me check. Yeah, we're gonna have to get this stuff out of the way anyway. Right. Nope. It's like a generator hole. And it seems like the only way to get in here is through this door. And this door does not exactly want to open any further than that. I believe that this is rather inflammable material, so let's put that somewhere else. But damn, I think it's not going to fit. I think even this little car is too big to fit through that door. Yep, it's too big. Okay, so that means that you basically have one more option. Or, well, a few, but one of them being that you make a very small contraption. And that contraption allows you to take a very small, I'm not even sure what you want to call it. It's a fire hose with a handle on it. That is all that I need. A fire hose with a handle and a long winch. Then I might be able to put this thing out. That's the only real thing that I could consider for fixing this situation. Because I think that relying on aerial extinguishing is impossible, because this is just a closed off space. So I could throw water on top of the building, but it wouldn't matter much. Okay. Well, I still really want to complete this mission to the full extent, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to go back to my original save. And just try and figure out something else. And then, of course, see if it works. I'm probably have to despawn some vehicles over here. Yeah, the Chinook has to be despawned. So this thing, cute as it is not going to get used. So I need something very, very small. Just a fire hose. That is all that I need. Just a fire hose. Okay, so this plan doesn't quite work. What sort of winch do I have? This one has a 20-meter mechanical winch. I think that might not be enough. I think I might need the large winch. And if I were to put that over here on the back of the helo, I would immediately be able to feed that with water. Damn, that looks ugly. Then again, it's not here to win beauty prizes, it's here to put out fires. Where exactly is your... There's your water intake. Okay. So pipes. Yep, see, there's the bed. Okay. Let's go for a redesign. I'm just going to leave these microcontrollers in here. I don't need to do too much with those things. So this is my entire water tank. I think that might be a little big though. Let's seal this part off. I'm not sure how the game treats this. There might be water coming through there. I don't think that the Chinook's going to be able to actually lift all of that. So let's make it a little smaller, like that. This thing I won't need anymore. So that's just going to be a normal block. Alright, so this is the winch. What I want to have on the winch is a nozzle. A fluid nozzle. And a handle. So I think maybe a standard straight pipe. And a handle. And a nozzle. Just like that. No idea if this is going to work. Alright, then I need a pump. And this is going to be a couple of pumps just hooked up together. Let me see. This is the output. No, this needs to be the input. There, we're going to daisy chain these things together to allow them to have a greater water output. So this is going to be water in. This is where the water comes out. And that goes there. This goes here. This goes here. And then over here we're going to have a port which allows for the water intake. Alright, one more straight pipe. And then I'm going to need a couple of buttons over here to allow this thing to, well, act, move. That might be a little too high though. Can I just go with a couple of push buttons? So that's going to be in, out, and a toggle for all the pumps. Alright, so this goes to those 3 pumps. 1, 2, 3. Then we have the in and out. Button pressed goes to cable down, cable up. We're going to speed this thing up a little. Whoops. So this is extend. And this is retract. And this is turn pumps on. Default state should be off. This dial over here, I don't want that on the back. I want that over here. So that I can quickly see how much water is actually in there. And how much water I'm currently using. Alright, so this fluid level goes there. And I think that was about 3,500. Give or take. Let's just say that that's the maximum for the dial. Water. Alright, hook everything up to power. And then we're going to do a little test. Just to see if this whole plan of mine is going to work. Okay, so how much water do we have? 4,500 liters of water. That's quite a bit. We can extend it. We can turn on the pumps. And now I can grab it and... yeah, I built myself a fire hose. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that, I think. How are we doing for water? We're going through it pretty fast. Anyway, this is something I can take to that facility. And this is something that should be able to put that fire out. One would hope. Can I grab it with 2 hands? No, just the one. Would 2 hands make it more stable, I wonder? So I would have another handle like that. Spawn it in. Here you go. Extend it. Turn pump on. Right hand and left hand. I think. No. Q. E. Yeah, no, that does not make it better. That makes it worse. Okay. Nice try. Let's not do that. So, no to that. Okay, so now we have a firefighting helicopter. Kind of. Maybe you could consider it a flying firefighting truck? I don't even know what you wanted to call this. Anyway, at this point I can also install some seats. Because apparently I will need them to bring a couple of those engineers back. Gotta make sure it doesn't interfere too much with this whole winching system that I put on a couple of episodes ago. So now I have 6 seats. If I put the firefighting gear up here and up there, then I can have another seat or 2 over here. So 1 here, 1 here, and then the firefighting gear goes in behind them. Just slightly above their head, where it's still accessible to the characters. Okay, seal that space up, if I can more or less find it. Alright, 1 and the other. Done. Set this up to have a maximum limit of 4,700. Now, if you really wanted to, you could also make a system in here that allows it to pump water in. So you could use the same thing over here, except you'd need a port, not a nozzle. And with that, you could put the winch in the water. And by doing so, you would be able to pump water back into the helicopter. I, for one, think that I have enough in the form of 70 or 4,700 liters of water. So I think that that should be enough to put out the fire as I have encountered it. Here's all my seats. Firefighting equipment, thermal equipment. Alright, let's try this again. Here's attempt number 2. No firefighting vehicle underslung to the helicopter, just one big 100 meter winch on the back as my flying firefighting truck. Try saying that a couple of times in a row. I don't even need to particularly park this thing closely to the front door, or well, to the only door, because I have 100 meters, so that should be more than enough to reach the whole facility. Now, you're responding first, so I think my first order of business should be to get the people out. Yeah, not the stranded tourists, that's a different mission. I would rather like it if my helicopter didn't actually drive off, so I need to turn the wheels off. And stop moving, please. Moving slowly in reverse is fine, so long as you don't clip your rotor blades onto the facility. Thank you. Okay. Equip. No. Equip firefighting. Rescue stranded engineers. That's mission objective number 1. Because those people need to be out in 15 minutes or less. Preferably less. Because I think they are warm enough as is. So, you. We're going to have to bring all of these people out. And I think we can immediately put one of them, or several of them, onto the helicopter. There you go. I don't know if I need to bring them all back, though. I'm assuming so. Get out of the way. I'm assuming so, so might as well put them in the helicopter, and otherwise they're just going to get taken for a ride. Take a little bit of damage there, but nothing too severe. Thanks to the firefighting gear. I think the firefighting gear does about 95% of damage reduction for fires. So I should have nothing to worry about. Okay, so there's 3 more. I will walk through fire for these people. Quite literally. Really, game? Won't allow me to jump over there. Alright, that is number 3. Numbers 4 and 5 are far deeper into the facility. Here he is. And there's the other one. You're coming with me. And in you go. And number 5. Pretty much the same way up, I think. So up here. Walk through the fire. Yep, here it is. And then down here. Alright, this could get warm for a sec. So, hold on. I'm not exactly sure if that hurts these civilians. Oh, yes, it does. I don't need to be jumping with them through the fire. I have firefighting gear. Them, not so much. Alright, so now I have time to bring 3 of the wounded engineers back to base. Or back to the facility. And put out the fire. So let's start with that last part. Put out the fire. Or rather, contain fire, as it says. But I think that's just a very generous description of put out the damn fire. Okay, game. Don't let me down now. Why is that thing pointing my way? Really? Now you're gonna start bitching about this. Are you going to be like that? You don't... The damn thing is spraying me in the face. Not what I want to be hitting. This is going all over the place. Nice try. That way, please. You know, into the fire. Yeah? No? No. Oh, I'm going to run out of water at this range. Or this rate. Come on. Where is my fire hose? The fire hose has apparently other plans and does not want to get carried up the stairs. For some reason, this did work in the hangar. And now the game just goes, no. No, 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 I changed my mind. This is not going to work. Come on. Fine. I shall take this thing and just walk into a fire. And see if that works. Really? You're going to get in my way now? Yeah, you're going to get in my way now. Okay, can I reach this? Yes, I can. Could we actually put water onto this fire, please? Because I engineered a vehicle in the previous episode, and now I engineered a fire hose, and I would like this to work. In general. Where's the damn fire? It's on the generator, isn't it? Yeah, I know I'm on fire, game, but... if only for my fire hose, I would have this thing out in a second. That way. Okay, I definitely should have made 2 handles on this. As I tried, but... Fine, I'll just try and get into this fire as close as possible and see if I can contain it that way. While I probably waste all the water in that tank. And I still have no way of replenishing it. But, hold on, the fire does seem to be going out. Sort of. Jeez, this must be the most incompetent firefighter they have seen here. Although, to be fair, if they were incompetent themselves, they wouldn't have needed me. Come on, game. this handle is not here because I thought it looked nice. I thought it was here for an actual purpose. I'm still taking damage from the fire, and the fire, for some reason or another, is not really getting extinguished. Alright, I'm gonna put this thing down for a sec. See how we're doing with the water. We still seem to have enough water. So here's the thing. For some reason it swings back to me. So it's like the center of gravity is interfering with everything. What if I winch it in a little bit? And at this point, we could have a beautiful bug, which just completely... There we go. There we go. This is what I was worried about. Pulling the whole helicopter back to the building because the fire hose was stuck. And in the process, very nearly breaking off a rotor blade or two. Okay. You there, you're coming with me. We're going to try and get up the stairs. Although I don't have the length for that on this winch. Extend. Still losing water like crazy here. Now ideally you'd have a handle with a control panel on it, but that would probably be too big. A little unwieldy. Where the hell is my fire? Oh. What is so hard about building a fire hose? And then carrying said hose up the damn stairs. Because that's what the game seems to be struggling with at the moment. Come on. Come on. This way. Here you are. Here's the fire. Now pretend you do something with the water and the fire. Pretend that they interact. And the fire puts... or the water puts out the fire. This is interesting, but it doesn't seem to be working too much. Just put the damn fire hose... The fire hose is now actually inside the fire. And still, this fire just goes, nah. I don't care about that shit. Welcome to Stormworks Amateur Hour. Where nothing works as it should. See, the game even tells me, yeah, the fire's 3 meters away. Yes, I know. I can see the fire, but my fire hose doesn't quite want to do anything about it. And in the meanwhile, I am still taking quite a bit of health damage. Could I tether it? Could that work? So just drag it behind me and walk through the fire like that? I think that the fire is not actually on the floor. That's why it's not being put out. But still, I'm standing right in the middle of the fire, and yes, I am aware that my health is going down. And yet, the fire is not even diminishing. Or is it? No, that's my health going down, and that's why the screen is turning black and white. You can also see almost a hit point box over this thing. Or a head box. Nice one, Stormworks. Okay, so after all the engineering, I don't quite see how this contained fire thing is going to go down. Rather, I think it's not going to go down at all. Like, it just won't do... I won't point to where I need it to point. It seems to be pointing at a sort of slight off angle. And so far, I've been at this for 10 minutes. I haven't extinguished a single fire. Despite the fact that I probably already threw, what, 2,000 liters onto it? Almost 3. Hot damn. Well, I think we're not going to get a full star completion for this mission. Simply because the game decides that, no, it's not going to happen. Here. It's once again pointing directly up at the fire. And the game just goes, nah, we're not going to do that. Come here, fire hose. Grab the handle. At some point, I might even die here. That would suck. Alright, let's give it one more try. Up this side. Up, up, up. Come on. Yep. It's kind of working with me here because the fire is in here. In this, well, machinery generator space. Yeah, now point it that way. Close enough. But not quite. That way. There. Oh, come on. No, this is just not working. Fuck this, I'm out. Get this box away. I'm going to just bring my fire hose back into the helicopter and start evacuating these people, because at this rate, I can do that, but I cannot put this fire out. Is my fire hose now down there? Fire hose is now more or less in limbo. And at this point, even the game doesn't know exactly where the fire hose is. I do know that I'm running out of health. Pretty quick. I do have one tiny thing. This thing needs to get out of the building, otherwise the helicopter won't take off. Come here. Do we need to give it more slack? Is that the problem? Look at that water go down, though. Fire hose, pick up. Nope, at this point, even the fire hose is properly bugged. Alright, fuck it. I'm calling it for this episode. I'm once again going to go back to my autosave. And I'm going to try, next episode, to fix this fire hose system. Because I do believe it will work. But it is just a little unpredictable which way it's going to point. And that is fucking up my whole system. So, we're going to go back to the Inferno next week. And if you have any plans or any suggestions in the meanwhile to fix my fire hose system, then I am all ears. Because I still really want to complete this mission. And I think this is the way to go. It's just that the controls aren't quite working. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you guys soon for the next episode.